Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Haugen. Today we're going to work on lesson 7 of our blue math packet. So if you notice, the target for today is draw arrays. So make sure you have your blue math packet in front of you with a sharp pencil and we'll get started. Today we're going to be reading the directions and they will give us very specific things that we need to do in order to create the correct array. I want you to look real quickly before we start number 1 at this picture over here. So again, I included this to remind you that rows go side to side and that columns go up and down. So let's go ahead and look at number 1. One row of an array is drawn below. So you see they even drew the line here for the row just to help keep track. Complete the array with X's to make 3 rows of 4. Draw horizontal lines to separate rows. There's a lot of directions here, so let's kind of break these directions down. First, we know they want us to draw X's. We can do that. And they want us to make 3 rows of 4 and then draw lines to separate those rows. So in order to do that, we already have 1 row. So this would be 2 rows and this would be 3 rows. So I have my 3 rows, and remember they want us to make 3 rows of 4. So they have 4 on the first row. We'll put 4 on the second row. Go ahead and do this in your blue math packet. And 1 more row of 4. I'm doing the very best I can to keep these in a line here. All right. So let's go back to be sure we did all the directions. Complete the array with X's, we did X's, to make 3 rows of 4. And we went ahead and drew the horizontal lines to separate the rows. So 1A is done. Let's look at B. Draw an array with X's that has 3 columns of 4. And they want us to draw vertical lines to separate those columns. So again, 3 columns. So that means we'll have to do 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and draw those column lines on yours. No columns go up and down, so I drew 3 column lines. And again, we're going to do columns of 4. So we're going to put 4 X's on each line. And again, I like you to do them in the middle just so we don't get confused. So there's 1X, 2 X's, 3 X's, 1 more. All right, there's 2 columns. Let's do our last column. These are not my very best X's today. 3 X's and 1 more. So again, the directions say 3 columns of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Now, we have to figure out what number is repeating in order to fill in these blanks. Well, again, I know that there's 4 and 4 and 4. So 4 is the number that is repeating. And again, to find my total, I can either skip count, I can count them individually, or now I know that I can combine these add-ins and then find the total. So I know that 4 plus 4 is 8, and I know that 8 plus 4 is 12. And so 3 rows up here, 3 rows of 4 was 12, and 3 columns of 4 is also 12. You see, I didn't change my total. I just rearranged how I drew the X's, okay? That was number 1. I'm going to pull this down just so I can keep it. Oh my goodness, do you hear the ducks in the background? They're so loud. Okay, number 2. Draw an array of X's with 5 columns of 3. So let's do columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 column. So go ahead and draw your column lines vertically up and down. And it says to draw columns of 3. So this time I'm putting 3 X's on each line. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and do this on your lesson 7 page. And again, if you need to stop the video, if I'm going too quickly, you may always pause and then continue when you're ready. All right, there we go. I drew an array of X's with 5 columns of 3. Now it says, draw an array of X's with 5 rows of 3. So this time I'm doing rows going sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to squeeze one up top here. 5. So there's my 5 rows. They're not beautiful today. 1, 2, 3. So my number that's repeating this time is 3. So draw your array, 5 rows of 3. One more row. All right, now that my array is drawn, I can go back up to the blanks here and I need to see, I've got 5. Well, my 5 here, the repeated number is 3. On each row, I have 3. And then again, to find my total, I can skip count, I can combine some add-ins, or I can just count them individually. Well, I know that 3 plus 3 is 6. And another 3 plus 3 is 6. And 6 plus 6 is 12. And then 12 plus 3 is 15. I can also skip count. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 5 columns of 3 is 15. And 5 rows of 3 is also 15. Again, I did not change the total. I just rearranged how I drew them, okay? If you are wanting to take this one step farther to multiplication, like the 3rd graders, this is how you would do that. You would look at this part right here, where it says 3 rows of 4. So that would mean 3 times 4 equals 12, okay? And then down here, if you're looking at 5 columns of 3 or 5 rows of 3, it's 5 times 3 equals 15. Again, the multiplication is not something you have to know how to do right now. It's just an option for taking this one step farther. We're going to do one more. We're just going to look at the next page at number 3, okay? It says, in the following problems, separate the rows or columns with horizontal or vertical lines. So horizontal being the rows, vertical lines being the columns. Now, let's read number 3. Draw an array of X's with 4 rows of 3. So again, I would need rows go this way. 4 rows. Now it says of 3. So I will put 3 X's on each line. Again, drawing out your lines first help keep your array not only more organized, but it helps with making less mistakes. All right, I have one more row. Make sure you're drawing your array with X's. All right, we drew our 4 rows of 3. And because I had 3 in each row, 3 is the number that I'm repeating. Well, it's kind of an ugly 3. Now, when I'm looking for the total, I can skip count or I can combine these. Well, I know 3 plus 3, 6. 3 plus 3, 6. And again, 6 plus 6 is 12. So 4 rows of 3 equals 12. And for those of you multiplication fanatics out there, that means 4 times 3 equals 12. So in second grade, we're learning how to draw these out because that's what this means. 4 times 3 is simply 4 rows of 3, or it could be 4 columns of 3. Boys and girls, if you want to complete the last 2, these are much more challenging, so that would be a great thing for some of you who need a little extra bit of a challenge. Otherwise, I would like you to go back into your class kick and do the first homework page. Talk to you soon.